Good evening, all of you. So let us start the day 3 session today. So before starting day 3, so we're going to review what you have discussed in the day 2 session. So in day 2, we are discuss about what is an algorithm and what are the properties of an algorithm. And after that, we are discuss about what is a flowchart and what are the advantages of using a flowchart and what are the drawbacks of using flowchart. And after that, we are going to discuss about programming development steps. And after that, we are going to discuss about fundamentals of C programming. And after that, we are going to discuss about application areas of C programming. So these are the topics we are discussed in the day 2. Now it is a day 3. We will going to discuss the following topics. So why are going to use a C programming language and what are the limitations of C programming language and what is the structure of a C programming, how will going to write the C programming, and after that we will going to discuss about programming rules and execution. Okay, what are the programming rules and how we'll going to execute the program, and after that we'll going to discuss about what is the difference between compiler and interpreter, and after that we'll going to discuss about what is a character set and what is the delimiters, and followed by C tokens. So these are the topics today I want covered. So let us see why we are using a C programming or why you are using a C language. So these are the reasons why C is popular programming language. So one is flexibility. So you can run the program at any machines. So that means that we will go and run the same program in Windows 7 or Windows XP and so on. So we have a very flexible. Why? Because it contains small number of keywords. Like if you know 32 keywords in C programming, then we'll go and write the this programming language very easily. So that is called flexibility and powerful. So C programming can be not only implemented for particular area of applications. It will be used for all general purpose. So that's why it is one of the powerful programming language and a small size. So can write the programs in small. You can by using different types of functions, built-in functions. We'll go to implement the program in smaller size. And next one is a modular design. So that means that you can follow the modular programming language in C programming. So especially in functions concepts, so we'll be use a modular design for writing of the calling function and for writing of a called function in C programming, and portability. So that means that you can run the C programming so at any operating system. And next one is a high level structure language features. So the C programming, it contain high level structure language features, and also it contain low level features, and finally efficiency. So it will going to give the exact solution for the given problem. So these are the reasons. That's why the C programming is popular. So according to the IEEE spectrum, comes with a ranking sheet of top programming languages in 2023. So according to their popularity, programming language popularity will be like this. So it is a language rank and types and spectrum ranking. So the Python programming language so is in first ranking, and after that the C programming language is in second ranking. That means 99.7. So that means it will be according to the programming language, the C language is a second ranking after the Python programming language. So Python is according to IEEE spectrum, language rank will be Python, and after that the second programming language rank will be C programming only. So that's why in BTech first years, so almost for first year this subject will be common for all the branches. So not only CSE and IT or AADS. So this C programming basics programming language will be common for all the branches like mechanical, triple E, ECE, civil, and so on. So that's why C programming language is one of the basic programming language. And coming to limitations, so what are the limitations of C programming? So what are the drawbacks of using C programming? So one of the drawbacks of using or the limitations of using C programming is it was not suitable for programming of numerical algorithms. Like if you take integrals or differential equations, so for solving of that numerical algorithms, so it does not provide suitable data structures. So it is not going to provide the suitable data structures if you want to develop the some numerical algorithms as in programming language. So this is one of the limitations of using C programming language. And second one is C does not perform bound checking on arrays. So that means that the C language does not go to checking uh, array index out of bounds, the type of error at the time of compilation and as well as at the time of runtime. So what is the bound checking on arrays? So for example, if you declare an array size will be 10, and at the time of execution of the program you can enter more than 10 elements. So that means that you have declared this size will be 10, but at the time of execution of the program you are going to enter more than 10 elements. So that's why it is one of the limitations of a C programming. So C does not perform bound checking on arrays. And third one is C is not a strictly type checking programming language. So the best example like for example, let us take in a scanner function. So actually in scanner function you are using a ampersand symbol for reading of variables in the program. So but some compilers especially C or C++ compiler like turbo C++ software, it is not going to checking that mistakes. Like if I can write without address operator in scanner function, so then I will be able to read the values from the keyboard. So that is one of the drawback of using C programming. So C is not a strictly type checking programming language. So that means that one more example is called, if you are going to write the logic mistakes, so that cannot be verified at the time of compilation. So the errors will be going to getting at the time of execution only. So that means that the C programming is not a strictly type checking programming language. So it is one of the main drawback of using C programming. And next one is the order of evaluation of functions arguments is not specified by the C programming. So that means that whether you can evaluate the expressions from left to right hand side or right to left hand side. So this language cannot be going to define. So if you want to get the exact output according to user requirements, you can apply the parenthesis for the given expression, then you will get the exact solution for the given problem. So but if you give the expression to the this programming language, so the programming compiler does not don't know whether you can evaluate the expressions from right to left or left to right. So these are the some of the main limitations of using C programming. Now coming to structure of a C programming. So it is a one of the important structure in C programming. So if you want to write your entire algorithm, or you have to convert the entire algorithm is in the form of a programming language, then you need to follow this structure. So not only C programming having follow this structure. So for any programming language, you can take C++ or Java or PHP or HTML. So you can take any programming language. So according to that programming language, we'll go and write the programs. So similarly, in C programming, if you want to write a program, then you need to follow the structure for writing of the C programming. So let us see what is the structure of this C programming. So the first session, it contains documentation session. So the first one is a documentation session. So under this documentation session, we'll go and write the comment lines. So if you want to write any program, so the first line you need to mention as a comment session. That is a documentation session. So in a C programming, will be use uh, slash star and followed by star slash. So that is a comment line for a representation of a C programming. So that will be comes under documentation session. For comment lines, we're going to use this documentation session. And now coming into second one, link session. So under link session, we're going to use like header files. So we'll be going to use stdio.h header file or co.enable.h header files. So that file will be going to write with help of a hash include stdio.h file or hash include co.enable.h file. So here include is nothing but you are going to say that you have to include that header file in your current running of the C programming. So that is the meaning for include. So hash indicate that it is a preprocessor directive. So before your program is going to execute it, uh, the first header files is going to start executing. After execution of these header files, then only it will go and execute your main program. So that will be all will be comes under link sessions. So hash include stdio.h file and hash include seva.enable.h file, that all will be comes under link session. So don't worry. So I will go and explain with one example, so that we will be going to easily understand what is the documentation session, what is the link session and all. So now coming into second one, definition session. So under definition session, you can define some constant values like pi value. So if you want to define pi value, you have to define in this definition session. And the next one, global declaration session. Under global declaration session, you can declare the variables outside of the main function. So if you declare the variables outside of the main function, that all will be comes under global declaration session. And after next session is a main session, and it is a compulsory session in C programming. So main is a compulsory in C programming. So main, and it contain parts, two parts. One is called declaration part, and it contain executable part. So what is the declaration part? It contain, you can declare what are the variables you are going to use it in our program. So that all will be going to comes under declaration part. And second one is executable part. So under executable part, it will be contain body of the program, like C is equal to a plus b. So for example, C is equal to a plus b, that will be comes under as a executable part. So the main function contain these two parts, declaration part and after that body of the program, that is executable part. So the main function, it contain open and closing curly brackets. So the set of statements can be enclosed in between open and closing curly brackets. And after writing of this main function, then you can use a subprogram. So as I said that why you are going to use a C programming, So it is a modular design. So it is a modular design that is called subprogram. We'll go and write the subprograms after end of the main function. So this subprogram can be called as a user defined functions. So we'll go and write user defined functions after the main function. So this is a structure of a C program. So I will repeat once again. In a document session, we will go and write the comment lines. In a link session, we will go and write the header file sessions. And in definition session, you can write constant values. And in a global declaration session, you can declare the variables outside of the main function. Not only variables, you can declare the functions outside of the main functions also. So next one, main function, it is a compulsory function and it contains two parts, declaration part and executable part. Under declaration part, it contains you can declare variables, and under the executable part, you can execute the body of the program, and these can be write in between open and closing curly brackets. So after that, you can write a subprogram, or it is called as a user defined function. You can write after main function. So this is structure of a C program. Now let us see one example how we'll go and write the C program. So this is one example how we'll go and write a C programming according to the structure of the C program. So first one, documentation session. So under documentation session, I'm going to use a comment lines. So the comment lines can be written in slash followed by forward slash followed by star and ended with star followed by forward slash. So we'll go and write multi lines of comments. So in between forward slash star and ended with a star and followed by uh, forward slash. So this will be comes under documentation session. In documentation session, we will go and write all these comment lines. And coming to next one, link session. Under link session, we will go and write the header files. So for example, I will go and write header files as include stio.h file or as include cvo.nio.h files. So these header files will be comes under these link sessions. And next one, definition session. And as I said that in a definition session, we'll go and define the constant values like pi value. So if you want to define a pi value, then you have to write hash define and followed by pi and followed by constant value of pi, that is a 3.14. So that will be comes under definition session. And the next one is a global declaration session, and similarly global declaration functions also. So that means if you declare the variable outside of the main function, like I declare the variable float followed by area, so this will be called as a global variable. So area is a global variables, and followed by I'm going to declare another function as a global function. So void followed by message. So message will be also a global declaration function. So this all will be going to declare under global declaration session. So we'll go and declare the variables as well as we'll go and declare the functions outside of the main program. Now coming into main function. So here I'm writing a void main, and this main function consists of two parts, declaration part and executable part. So for declaration part, you have to declare the variables inside. What are the variables we are going to use it in our program? You have to declare in a declaration part, and under executable part you have to write the some body of the program like printf, scanf, and followed by C is equal to A plus B, or area is equal to pi into R into R. So in this example, I am writing the executable part, printf function, scanf function, and area. So I'm going to calculate the area of a circle, and after that I'm going to print that area, and I'm going to call the this message function. So this is called function calling. So what is the function calling here? So the function calling, it will be terminated by semicolon. Then it is called a calling function. So if the same function, it contain a body. So for example, message, it will be terminated by semicolon. So this function is called as a calling function, and the same function I'm going to write, I'm going to implement some body. So instead of this function, I'm going to write some body of some statements. So then it is called as a call function. So the difference between calling function and call function is that the calling function is terminated by semicolon and it does not have any body. And whereas the call function, it does not terminated by semicolon and it contain body of the that function. So and this will be comes under sub function like user defined functions. So this is an example for structure of a C programming. Now coming into programming rules and how we're going to execute the program. So these are the some basic syntax rules for C programming. You have to remember all these basic syntax rules for if you want to write C programming. So first one is C is a case sensitive programming language. So that means that all C insertions must be written in lowercase letters only. So for example, you can take HTML, yeah, hypertext markup language. So in HTML, we are using a tags. So the tags can be write in lowercase letters or uppercase letters, or it is a combination of both lowercase and uppercase letters. So whereas in C programming, you should be write C insertions must be in lowercase letters only. So that is one of the basic syntax rule for writing of a C program. So the C is a case sensitive programming language. So all C insertion must be written in lowercase letters only. So that is one of the important point you have to remember while writing of the program. And second one is all C statement must end with a semicolon. So every statement must be ended with a semicolon. So that is another basic syntax rule for writing of a C program. And next one, white space is used in C to describe blanks and tabs. So you can use a white spaces, like you can use a single space or you can use a tab space. So that will be used to describe blank and tabs. So if we give a single space, that will be called as a blank. If we give a four spaces, that will be comes under tab space. So can use white spaces for writing of a insertions or statements in C programming. And last one is white space is required between keywords and identifiers. So this is a very important uh, syntax rule for C programming. So that is a space. So for example, uh, int int space followed by variable or followed by identifier. So that means the white space is required between keyword. So here int is a keyword. Int is a keyword. So and identifiers. You need to maintain a space between keywords and followed by identifiers. And this is an example for writing of a programming rules and execution. So first you can write header files. So hash include stdio.h header file. So here std stands for standard and I stands for input and o stands for output and h stands for header file or hidden file, and followed by you can write a void main or you can write a int main. For example, if you write int main, so then it will be comes under return 0. So that means the main function should return integer type of value. So that's why at end of the program you will go and write the return followed by 0. So for example, if you write void main, so if you are going to write void main, so that means that the main function does not return any value. So that is the meaning for if you use void main or if you use int main. And next one, as I said that who can write the comment lines. So in between the in between the programming itself also, who can write the comment lines in C programming or C++ or Java. So any language will be going to write the some comment lines inside of the programming only. So the main use of writing of comment lines in any programming language is that for easy to understand. So for example, uh, today I'm going to write some code, and uh, after 1 week I will going to visit the same page. Then I will be know what I'm going to do on that page. So why? Because by reading that comment lines, then I will going to be easy to understand uh, what I'm going to do in the next day. So that's why you can use a comment lines in between the programs also. And I said that every statement must be ended with the semicolons. And after that, every program. So every if you open one, if you open curly braces, how many number of curly braces you are going to open? So that number of curly braces you need to apply here in our program. So let us see the next one is a difference. What is the difference between compiler and interpreters? So C programming is a compiler and interpreter programming language. So whereas Python, if you take a Python programming language, so in Python programming language you don't compile the Python programming language. So directly that will go into converted into machine code. So that's why Python is not a compiler programming language. It is an interpreted programming language. So whereas in C programming is a compiler, both compiler and interpreted programming language. So what is a compiler? So the compiler is going to converted your entire source code. That means what is a program you are going to written like a higher level language program, that all will be going to converted into machine code, that is called object code. So at the time of compilation, which will go and converted your entire program into object code. So by using that object code, we will going to get the output of the particular program. So that means that whenever the compiler is going to converted the high level programming language into machine code or object code, so that object code is going to interpreted. So that means the object code interpreted, and that will going to executed at the time of execution time, then it will going to produce the output of the program. So that is a compiler. So the compiler is going to compile uh, uh, um, so entire source code into object code, and by using that object code, it will going to produce the output of the program. So uh, here I mentioned error message here. So that means that if I said that the compiler is going to compile all the lines of the program at a time. So the compiler is going to compile the all the lines of the program at a time. So that's why if any errors is going to is going to getting in the entire lines of the program, it will going to produce the all the error message here. Okay, are you understanding what I am saying? So the compiler is going to compile the, for example, you are written 100 lines of programming code. Then the compiler is going to converted all the 100 lines of programming code at a time, and also it will going to produce any errors in all 100 lines of program, it will going to list out those errors in our program. So whereas in interpreter, so the object code, so that means entire source code, so entire source code is going to convert it into directly converted into object code. That means it will going to produce the output of the uh, given problem or given program. So that means that there is no compiler here. So in interpreter programming language, we are not going to use you are not going to use a compilation. So directly your entire source code is going to produce the output of the uh, given problem. So similarly, the interpreter is going to execute it each and every line at a time. That means that it will going to execute only one line at a time. So whereas in compiler, which will going to compile all the lines of the program at a time. So that means that all the lines of the source code is going to convert it into machine code, and after that it will be produce the output of the program, and also it will going to produce the errors of the all the lines of the program. So whereas an interpreter, it will going to execute line by line. So if any errors will be getting on particular line, then you need to correct that error. After that, it will going to continue it will going to continue the next instructions. Like that, the interpreter is going to execute the program line by line. So that's why when compared to compiler and interpreter, the compiler is going to take less time for execution of the program, whereas the interpreter is going to take more time. Why? Because it will going to execute a line by line. So that's why it will going to take more time. And this topic about character sets, we'll go and discuss the next session. So up to now, if you have any doubts, feel free, you can post it into the chat box, so that I will going to give some answers to you. So if you have any doubts, you can post it into the chat box, so I will going to reply your messages. So any doubts up to now? Are you understanding what I am saying? If you are understanding, please give a yes. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I will going to uh, try to answer your queries. And if you don't have any doubts, so that's all about today's sessions, and have a nice day. Thank you.